What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for a Smackdown review on August the 2nd, October the 2nd, 2020. We are on our way to Hell in a Cell, but next week comes the draft. The first night of the two-night draft, Monday Night Raw, of course, we'll get it the following Monday. Tonight, we had a little build to Hell in a Cell, and WWE, for whatever reason, next week is the draft. And it's going to be the last episode, I think, of Smackdown on Fox for about 2 weeks because of the MLB playoffs, World Series, all that stuff's happening. It's going to be, I believe, the next 2 weeks after that are going to be on FS1. But WWE, for whatever reason, is stacking next week's show. We have the draft. We're going to have a title match, which I'm going to get into because WWE, what they're doing to these two individuals is a fucking travesty. Sheamus will take on Big E next week, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But tonight, we're going to have Sami Zayn Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental title against Jeff Hardy. Kevin Owens hosting the KO show with Alexa Bliss from the Brand to Brand Invitational. And Jey Uso coming out to being confronted by his cousin. We go right to the ring, and out comes Universal Champion Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman. Reigns raises the title in the air, goes off with Pyro. They march to the ring. Graham Hamilton does the introductions. This will be the ceremony to officially crown Reigns as the tribal chief. He takes time entering the ring, which has a red apron covering and nothing else. Which usually when you have these celebrations, you would have something like balloons, maybe, or other paraphernalia in there. Maybe a statue, maybe people around to help celebrate him being classified or announced officially as the tribal chief. We got none of that. So Heyman says you have to excuse him tonight because he's nervous. He's known Roman Reigns and his entire family since the day he was born. And he's always looked forward to this actual moment because everyone knew this was destined to happen. Heyman says we are all here tonight to officially declare Roman Reigns the tribal chief. Not just the tribal chief of his own family or WWE Friday Night Smackdown or WWE, but the tribal chief of the entire WWE universe, which is why it is so necessary that Reigns is your undisputed Universal Champion. Heyman wants to set the stage appropriately with respect. He names Hall of Famers Peter Maivia, Reigns' uncle, Alpha, and his father, Sika. Reigns interrupts and doesn't want Heyman to call him that. He doesn't want Heyman to call him the tribal chief because he wouldn't acknowledge him. And I love how Roman is just smooth talking. He's got this, what do you want to call it? This, he has a bass in his voice that he's here on business. No more loudmouth, no more of that shit. He's here on business. He says he wouldn't acknowledge him. His brother did, but he wouldn't. And what happened at Clash of Champions, he wants his cousin to come out here right now. Now, the music, he waits for a minute or two, and then the music finally hits. Jey's all business, no joking around, no jumping around, no being goofy as the Usos would be. He comes to the ring and says, I don't know you. You showed your true colors at Clash of Champions, and so did I. You beat my ass. But if it weren't for Jimmy throwing in that towel, this title would be mine. Reigns stares him down in the middle of the ring. Roman asks if Jey thinks he's proud of what he did. Because Clash of Champions was the worst night of my life and my career. Professionally and personally, those weren't his intentions going into the match. He wanted to help Jey. Put him in the main event. Goes on about wanting to help Jey. Put him name on the light in the middle, in the big lights. On the marquee. All that stuff. Get him a payday to be able to help do some nice things for his kids and his wife. What happened at Clash of Champions was never his intentions. But you didn't do what I wanted you to do. He wanted to help Jey, and all Jey had to do was acknowledge him. All he had to do was say the words, acknowledge him as tribal chief. Reigns says the day he was born, this has been his birthright. He wasn't handed it, which is what a birthright is. he had to work his ass off, and Jey has seen it in the entire way. All Reigns wanted was to represent the family to the fullest, to share the main event with Jey, but all Jey did was disrespect him, embarrass their family. Jey broke his heart. He calls Jey out for looking at the title and saying, "Look at you. You can't even look at me when I'm talking to you. You're looking at this thing. Like this is all you care about? This is all you want?" Yes, motherfucker, that's all these wrestlers, including yourself, care about. That is what it is to be a WWE champion. You want like a WWE performer. If you're not there for the championship, then what are you doing there? He's spilling his guts, and is this all you want? If you want another shot, is that what you want? You want another shot? You got it. Do you want it in Hell in a Cell? It's yours. He says the match will have the highest stakes than any other match has ever had in WWE history. I don't know about that, Reigns. I don't know about that. He hugs Jey and tells Jey while hugging him that if he was smart, he wouldn't accept the challenge. In this time, there will be real consequences. He drops the mic, exits the ring with Heyman following, his music starting up. He marches up the ramp while Jey watches. Jey takes the mic and says, "Whatever the stakes are, you're on." Cole says Jey has accepted the challenge. Graves wonder what the stakes are. Jey is still in the ring. Roman and them are gone. Out comes AJ Styles. AJ asks if this is all over. Did he miss it? Did he miss the luau? Did he miss everything? He asks if it really matters who sits at the end of the table and has the most chicken bones. Not really. Well, AJ, you're not part of that family. I'm telling you right now, it does matter who's at the head of that table. Just gonna put it out there. It does matter. AJ believes it'll not. Jey matters to him. He doesn't want to see Jey take another beating like he did Sunday. He tells you to find someone more qualified to get the title. Let Reigns be the tribal chief. Sacrifice or go to something, and you can go on living. AJ goes and says Jey can go on living as the runt he always has been because, to be honest, your brother is the better athlete. You've always been the runt. That's just your role. Jey ends up getting at AJ, sending him to the floor and leaping off the announce table and knocking back down. Jey gets hyped as Smackdown goes to commercial. Somebody, I think it was WrestlingInc.com, put a tweet out. What do you think of the big dog's Roman Reigns? And I'm thinking, the big dog was terrible. The big dog sucked. The tribal chief is fan-fucking-tastic. He sounds better. He acts better. He looks better. Everything they've done with Roman Reigns since he's come back, except for the way he won the title, where the match started. The match was, both competitors were down after breaking the ring. Then he signs a contract. That was stupid as shit. But the rest of the stuff, last week on SmackDown, the yelling at, saying that you will never get this. This is for me and our entire family, to the match at Clash of Champions tonight. This has been the best Roman Reigns we have seen ever. Roman Reigns and other people on SmackDown, which we'll talk about here in a bit, have really stepped up their game and are really becoming some of the best parts of WWE right now. So we have a match, Jey Uso versus AJ Styles. Jey Uso, people are probably wondering, why did they do what they did with Jey Uso on Sunday? Pretty much book a somewhat Brock Lesnar type match versus Roman Reigns, like Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar type of match with Roman Reigns. Simple. To put Jey higher on the card. It's kind of funny that Big E has been on this singles push since they lost the tag team titles at the pay-per-view before SummerSlam, if I'm correct. It was at SummerSlam. It was the pay-per-view before SummerSlam. Extreme Rules. He's been on a singles push, and it's been atrocious. Jey Uso, who Jimmy's been out for a while and is going to be out for the rest of the year, honestly, has only been seen once in a blue moon. In this one stretch of working with his fucking cousin, Jey Uso's singles push has been more effective and done better than Big E's entire singles push has been. Singles push for Big E has been an absolute failure, while Jey Uso has been shining the last few weeks, last fucking Sunday and tonight. Jey Uso is going to look better. I just hope that it doesn't lead to where we have brother versus brother, because WWE has had brother versus brother feuds before with Matt and Jeff, and they have been terrible. WWE can't book a brother versus brother feud right. But this was a good match here. AJ Styles definitely went out there and got Jey Uso, made Jey Uso look great. Jey Uso works with Roman on Sunday. Jey Uso works with AJ Styles tonight. Having Jey Uso work with guys like Roman, because Roman is doing a hell of a lot better now than he was this time last year. Plain and simple. He's in his right skin. He's in the right version of him. And then he goes from working from him with AJ Styles, which AJ Styles works well with almost anybody, minus Jinder Mahal and so on and so forth. But yes, great match, good match here. Jey brings him back in the referee couch. Jey leaps to the top rope with a splash, but AJ gets his boots up and Jey lands hard. AJ goes for a springboard for the phenomenal forearm. But the way the camera was, usually when you see AJ Styles get ready for the phenomenal forearm, they have the camera panned out so you can see him go up and go for it. This time, for whatever reason, he sets himself up and the camera stays focused on him. So you knew when he was going for the phenomenal forearm right here, it wasn't going to land. So he goes up, Jey stops him, he's teetering over, Jey hits him with a super kick, hits him with another super kick, goes up, hits the Uso splash with a taunt, he turns his head and sticks his tongue out, and we get ourselves 1, 2, 3, Jey Uso wins. After the match, Jey stands tall to celebrate the big win. We go to replays, and he celebrates and talks himself up as he makes his exit. He's still all business. This ain't Jey Uso from a week before, before this past Sunday, where he's just jumping around, happy he won. He's just like, I'm gonna get him, and just walks like the fun-loving Jey Uso is on the shelf right now. This is serious Jey Uso. This is what we need for Jey Uso if you're going to make him any better. We see highlights of the Triple Threat ladder match at the Clash of Champions. Sami Zayn is backstage with both belts. He knows you're expecting him to gloat about everything, but tonight is a mix of emotions, and one of those is resentment and anger. He goes on about how he's been treated over the title, but he realized WWE management aren't the ones to blame. You are. Each and every one of you. Because when I was sitting at home, you guys just went on the line as frauds were given the title. He blames us because when he was stripped unceremoniously of the championship on Twitter, of all places, he says nobody spoke out on his behalf. Nobody stood up for him. And I'm thinking to myself, are you out of your fucking mind? Everybody stood up for you. Everybody was pissed off. Everybody was not happy that you were stripped of the Intercontinental Championship. What kind of fucking bullshit line is that? Everybody who was a WWE fan on Twitter who wanted to see Sami Zayn come back and defend that title was pissed off that WWE stripped them of him. Now a lot of us understood why they did it, but still didn't feel like it was right that they took the title from Sami Zayn without having him having to come back to defend it or lose it. Yeah, everybody was on your side, Sami. I don't know what the hell you're talking about saying nobody stood up for you. Bullshit. But of course, when AJ Styles won the championship, you guys went for the ride. When he lost to Jeff Hardy, you went for the ride. So it was up to me to do the right thing. He came back, won it this past Sunday, and he's going to do with this other championship, which of course is the one with Jeff Hardy's plates on it. He's going to do what AJ and Jeff Hardy should have done with this sham title, and he's going to put the title belt in the trash of history after his win tonight. Sami drops the belt into a trash can, and we go to break. And honestly, you could tell that trash can was completely empty because he threw it down, and all you heard was a clink. So Jeff Hardy's title is gone. And Sami Zayn is the one true Intercontinental Champion, as he should be. I still find it puzzling how he's like, nobody stood up for me. Nobody said anything. Are you kidding me? Everyone did. So, we have John Morrison versus Otis as our next match. This, of course, is all going about because Mandy Rose got traded to Raw, even though we have a draft coming up next week. Miz and Morrison gloated about it on Miz TV a couple weeks ago. They sued, and this match is leading up to that. And this was terrible. You know, when Otis, I'm not sorry, not Otis, when John Morrison re-signed with WWE, we're like, oh man, look at a winner at this guy. He left WWE, he left, became Impact Champion, AAA Champion, I believe it was at one time, Lucha Underground Champion, making a name for himself, building himself up to be a future WWE Universal or WWE Champion. What did they do? Immediately saddled him with The Miz. Immediately. What happened tonight? He got 1 or 2 moves in and Otis squashed him. Yes, John Morrison, one of the best that they have in the company, who could work with anybody, squashed in less than 3 minutes to Otis. Again, I will say this again. The Money in the Bank briefcase has never felt more irrelevant than the 2020 version. Otis should have never won that that Money in the Bank briefcase. They gave it to him and had no plans. No plans whatsoever. And do you really think Otis is going to beat Drew McIntyre or Roman Reigns with the Money in the Bank briefcase? Get the fuck out of here. This has been absolutely ridiculous. We see Sasha Banks backstage in her next brace. We see she has a message for her former tag team partner tonight. Back to commercial breaks. And oh boy, I'm going to have something to say about that later. Sheamus versus Chad Gable. This was a back-to-back squash match because Chad Gable gets a couple moves in. Actually gets a Chaos Theory pin attempt. And after that, Sheamus just hits him with 2 bro kicks. 1, 2, 3. And that was that. Big E did challenge Sheamus to a Falls Count Anywhere match for next week. That has been accepted. It will happen next week. Kevin Owens is backstage preparing for his interview with Alexa Bliss. His logo is showing on a screen behind him, but it starts flickering between the Firefly Funhouse logo and pictures of the Fiend. Otis doesn't see it, and the only one to acknowledge it really was Michael Cole. Off we go. Back from break, and Raw superstar Kevin Owens in the ring, which is set up for another must-see edition of the Kevin Owens Show. It's happening because of the Brandy Brand Invitational. Owens mentions the WWE Draft next week and how this could be his future home. Introduces Alexa Bliss, and out comes she comes with her pyro exploding. She walks to the ring as Cole shows that the Fiend's presence caused Alexa Bliss to snap on Lacey Evans next week. Owens says he's been paying attention to Smackdown and what's been going on, and he has so many questions about what's happening to Bliss. He brings up the shift in attitude and the anger and says it reminds him what he sees in his nemesis on Raw, Aleister Black. Bliss says she doesn't know what he means, and she's just got that cool. Like, she just has this, like, the way she says it, it's just like she has this ghostly version, like this chilling way she said it. He brings up, hold on. He says she's not the same woman he met about, 5 years ago at the Performance Center, who was always cheery and happy making people laugh. She says people change. Owens should try it sometime. Doesn't he want to change and be better? Owens says he's tried to change. He's tried to better himself. He's done so many bad things in his career. And he's doing things the right way, but this isn't about him changing. It's about how she's changing. He needs to understand the darkness that is taking her over, because it can help if he can understand what maybe has understand what's happening to Black. Bless says people fear what they don't understand. Have you ever been around him? As it's fearful and captivating at the same time. And she's starting to like quiver while she's talking. I can't mimic her, and it's really a great promo. Your spine goes cold. Your body goes numb when he touches you. It's like pins and needles. It's like and when he looks at you, it's like he's looking right through you. And he can't look away. Bliss asks Owen if he's had any idea what that's like. Owen believes they're not talking about Aleister. He doesn't think he will ever get the answers from her because she's brainwashed. He says, yes, my brain has been washed. All the lies have been washed away, and now she sees the truth. She has been cleansed by him. He says he's here, isn't he? She says, he's everywhere, and she can hear him now. Let him in. Owens gets up, the lights go down. It's all black. We hear the menacing sound as the Fiend starts up. The lights come up red. The Fiend has the mandible claw on Owens. Bliss just sits there calmly, as if this is just normal. These two, like the Fiend, just doing his work, and she's just his puppet. Fiend takes him down, and he's screaming and yelling. The Fiend stands back up, turns his attention to Bliss. She is somewhat in a trance, staring at him. The menacing styles continue as he goes out of the arena. He approaches Bliss. He takes his right hand, puts it out to her. She slowly gets up from the chair, and she takes his hand. She looks over, has a grin, an evil grin, and we fade to black. And Fiend has taken over Alexa Bliss even more. Holy shit, that was just great. Roman Reigns is coming into his own, and Roman Reigns is stepping up and becoming the best version of him. This is fantastic work from Alexa Bliss. Kevin Owens did his great job too. But this has been the best version of Alexa Bliss in the last 5 years. Her stuff with Blake and Murphy was good. Everything in between that and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss was fine. So, like, after this segment, SmackDown went down the hill. After this was great. The first hour of SmackDown, this first part of SmackDown, actually, outside of the 2 squash matches, you had the Roman and Jey thing. You had Kevin Owens and Alexa Bliss with the Fiend. Great stuff. Great stuff. But then we go downhill. We have Corbin, Cesaro, and Nakamura versus Matt Riddle, Dorado, and Grand Metalik. Why is this match happening? Because WWE can't let feuds go. I know WWE's in this COVID thing, and they don't have, I guess, access to... They should have access to everybody, but I'm not sure if they do or not. But on Raw, we're still having shit that's just continuing, going on and on and on. SmackDown, same thing. Corbin, Riddle still happening. Cesaro, Nakamura, and the Lucha House Party is still happening. The only thing to take note of this match is the fact that Kalisto, who didn't come with the Lucha House Party and Matt Riddle at the beginning, came down right away. He's like, hey, you guys left me behind. I was in the back. Well, towards the end of the match, Lince Dorado had Corbin, or I think it was Corbin. It was going to push over Cesaro, actually. No, Cesaro. Push him into Kalisto, but he gets hit instead, and Kalisto hits an Enziguri on Lince Dorado. Matt Riddle ends up hitting a Broton on Cesaro after hitting... I'm sorry, Broteric, not the Broton. Broteric on Cesaro, 1, 2, 3. The team wins. After the match, Riddle stands tall. He's getting... Kalisto runs in, celebrates with Riddle, acting like he won. That leads to more intense argument between Kalisto and Dorado. Riddle holds Kalisto back, and that was that. Cole says we'll hear from Sasha Banks soon with recent footage of Bayley when she explained her attack. We go to the ring, and out comes Sasha Banks wearing a neck brace. Back to commercial. Back from break, and we get a mystery woman backstage dressing room again. She finally reveals herself to be Carmella, as we knew all along. She says, sometimes you need to take a good look in the mirror at yourself and see where you are. She forgot who she was as she got lost along the way, but she knows exactly who to blame. You, the fans. We have to blame you because that's what a heel does. We're getting Carmella back when she first came to the main roster, when she was the women's champion and was absolutely insufferable. The fans, all of them, the fans wanted her to do things their way, play by their rules. Look where they got me, absolutely nowhere. Then she remembered that she is Carmella. She's better than all of you. But do you know what she's not? She's not your princess anymore. And it doesn't matter if she gets drafted to Raw or SmackDown, because this time, she's untouchable. Unless she doesn't want to be, which, whatever the fuck that means. So we're getting old Carmella back. Who cares? Whoop-de-fucking-do. We go back to the ring, and Banks is in the ring. She says if SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley really thought not being medically cleared would have stopped her from attacking Clash of Champions, she goes on and says Bayley is nothing but a coward, one who needed Banks time and time to keep her title. Bayley's using her for her own accomplishments. Banks knows Bayley isn't here tonight because she's scared, but she says next week it'll be them in a singles match with the title on the line. And you heard that right. Banks says they both know that when it comes down to them, and there's nobody there to save her, Banks takes off her neck brace, says Bayley doesn't stand a chance, bitch. stares ahead at the camera, the music starts up, and Cole confirms the match will be next week. Are you fucking kidding me? Sasha Banks returned the night after SummerSlam last year. Not too long after that, Sasha Banks returned as a heel. And not too long after that, Bayley and Sasha Banks aligned as allies, both as heels. And for well over a year, these two women have slow burned this feud that deserves Hell in a Cell. And this is what you're going to give these two? A singles match on Smackdown during the fucking draft. Are you fucking kidding me? What a slap in the face to Bayley and Sasha Banks. These two women have put the SmackDown and Raw women's divisions on their back and did everything they could to keep the women's division relevant. Asuka was there, but WWE doesn't give a shit about Asuka. Just look at her last 2 title reigns. But these two women have went out there and have been one of the best parts of this empty arena era. And this is how you reward them? A match. A throwaway title match on a show that has already got the draft. Are you kidding me? This is fucking ridiculous. This warranted Hell in a Cell. Do you think Jey versus Roman Reigns deserves to be in Hell in a Cell? No, it fucking doesn't. This does. And this is the best you have for them. Give me a fucking break. This is bullshit. All the hard work, everything those two women went out there and put their heart and soul into this company, and this is the best you have for them. You have got to be kidding me. Vince McMahon is the dumbest motherfucker in the goddamn world, thinking they don't deserve Hell in a Cell, that this is what they deserve. Obviously, the reason they're doing this is because the loser's going to Monday Night Raw in the draft. That is the only fucking reason they're doing this. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. All the hard work that these two women put into, and this is a feud that people have been wanting to see for years. Since Bayley was moved to the main roster after the killer feud in NXT for the NXT Women's Championship with the greatest women's match in WWE history. TakeOver Brooklyn won. They tore the house down. They did it better. They did another great match at TakeOver Respect about a month and a half later. And this is what you give them. Start, stop. A false flag Bayley heel turn. All like at one time. All leading up to this. And this is what you got for them. That just killed everything that they've worked for. Telling them, this is what we got for you. This is the best we have because Roman Reigns deserves a fucking Hell in a Cell match over you two. Because obviously Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre are going to be in Hell in a Cell too. That was teased on Monday. And no, not both world titles have to be on the line at Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell is a B-level pay-per-view. The both world titles should be on the line at WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam, and that's it. Clash of Champions too, because it's Clash of Champions unless it's a brand-exclusive pay-per-view. But that's it. Those 4 pay-per-views, that is it. Roman could have taken the month off, the next pay-per-view off. They could have let it be Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton and Sasha Banks and Bayley. So much for that, Sasha Banks and Bayley is going to be in the main event and Hell in a Cell. Give me a fucking break. Even if they go to Hell in a Cell and give them that match, it won't feel as big as it should have been because you threw the match away on a random episode of SmackDown in a show that people are going to be talking about the draft and not the title match. What a fucking slap in the face of these two women. They should be they should feel disrespected by the company. Because any match that happens on this next Friday and the Monday after that are not going to fucking matter because everybody's going to be talking about the draft. So putting that title match on next week is a massive slap in the face. And those women deserve better. Bayley and Sasha Banks deserve Hell in a Cell. And you're going to give it to Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, who don't fucking deserve it. What a fucking load of shit. Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy, Intercontinental title match. Don't give a fuck. I was done with the show after this. Jeff loses because Sami Zayn at the beginning before the match happened tore a turnbuckle off, so it was exposed. Jeff goes up for a move. He gets swiped down. His head hits the turnbuckle, the exposed turnbuckle. 1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn retains, and the show goes off with him being happy. Nobody fucking cares. You're ruining Bayley and Sasha Banks because they're desperate for ratings. This is a ratings pool. This match deserves Hell in a Cell, and that's what you do for me. What a piece of shit. Vince McMahon is the worst businessman in all of wrestling. He is the worst booker. He is the worst overall. The fact that you're going to slap these women in the face like that. Pathetic. That is your Smackdown review. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on Twitch.tv/The France Club. And find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I'll see you guys